Hello and welcome to The Great Beyond, an Is This Good companion pod where we follow up on last week's episode, answer listener questions, and catch up with each other. The person I'm catching up with is, of course, Jason Doyle.
Hello.
Hi, JD. Thanks for coming today, and I hope you've brought your production muscles with you, because you have potentially a challenge greater than you've ever faced before.
Oh, boy.
You've had leaf blower.
Yes.
You've had barking dog.
Yep.
Child's play. We had a new one. We had a guy vacuuming his car outside my window a few podcasts ago.
That's true.
Now we have wild parrots.
No.
Oh, we got wild parrots.
Just hanging out outside your window.
Hang out outside the window on a line. I can see them from here. They're quiet now. I did take a little voice memo on my phone earlier of them squawking.
Yeah.
But apparently there are like thousands of wild parrots in Los Angeles County.
Wow.
And people don't know they don't know exactly why, but some combination of like released from a zoo or someone had them as a pet and then released them and then they all started mating. And I've seen them in other neighborhoods and I've been like, wow, amazing. I just hope that one day they bless us over here, just over the river in Glassell Park.
Yeah.
And then it took maybe 12 minutes of them being here for me to be like, okay, these guys gotta fucking get out of here. All they're doing is squawking.
Just squawking. No talking. No talking.
Oh, that's interesting. You think if I stood under the wires and just...
Yeah. Teach them like profanities and whatnot.
Yeah. That reminds me of a friend of mine told me this story where they were at a friend's place and they were all saying goodbye. And then the guy was like, oh, like where are you going? And sort of my friend said, like in a joking voice, like, we're going to get charcuterie. And then she hears someone from upstairs at the party go, charcuterie. She's like, oh, that's fucking really
a little bit rude, but okay.
Rude.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? Is that your neighbors? That's like kind of rude. And he's like, what? No one. Oh, yeah. That's the parrot. So I should just go outside and start saying charcuterie.
Yeah,
see
charcuterie.
If it responds.
Oh, that'd be great if there was just thousands of parrots descending on LA going, charcuterie!
Snackle box! So did anything good or not good happen to you this week?
Yeah, something not good happened to me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, my beloved Hazel, my dog. I have two dogs, as you know. She's fine. Don't worry. She's fine.
Oh, okay.
She's not the
That's a fucked up way to tell me your dog died.
No. She's not the victim in this story. I am the victim. I have two dogs, as you know. One I love more than anything. The other I could take or leave. That's Cosmo. It's okay. He gets love from the other three members of this household. So It's all good.
Takes a village, JD.
It takes a village. It absolutely does. Hazel's my girl, though, and she's a puppy. She's not a puppy, but she's still puppy-like. She's a boxer. They kind of stay puppy-like for their whole lives, which is one of the best things about them. Also, one of the worst. Anyway, she sits on my lap.
So you're saying this dog is like Jack, starring Robin Williams, where he looks really old, but he's still a child?
Yeah, exactly right. So she sits on my lap a lot. Like, I'll eat my lunch on the couch and she'll sit on my lap, kind of thing. Like, she's a bit of a lap dog. And she's also obsessed with balls. Like, not that kind of balls. Like, tennis balls. And she was sitting in my lap with her ball, just sort of canoodling around. And I've got a little picture here just to show you, just to give you an idea of where she is. Now, that's my lap. That's my little gut to the left. And then she's just in my lap. She's lying on the couch, and her ball is there. And she just kind of canoodles around with the ball. And occasionally, she'll just sort of, snap at it, right? Mm-hmm. So I had come back from working out, and I was sitting on the couch, just, reading an article on my phone, and she was just messing around with her ball. And the ball sort of rolled out of the way as she was going to snap at it, and she literally just bit my dick right in the mid. Like, it was just like I was wearing workout shorts. I don't know what was happening with the Big Johnson down there, but just perfect sort of. I don't know what the angle was, but literally just clamped down like. And I've never been bitten on the dick before, and it was like to the point where I reactively just sort of shoved her away, and then I got up and I ran to the kitchen and I was like checking for holes in my penis.
Were there teeth imprints?
I didn't see any. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, what an experience. Like,
what you said it's never happened to you before.
I've never been bitten on the dick. Have you?
Right. No, but I just want to applaud Rachel. I just want a delicate lover and a delicate editor of our shorts.
That's right.
Okay, so no teeth marks.
No teeth marks.
No blood.
Just a scare. I was really, honestly, a scare. I thought I've been Lorena Bobbited here, like by my beloved dog, like
Lorena dog bit.
Lorena dog bit. That's right.
I wonder if the sort of the thing that jumped out at me is you said you had just come back from the gym.
Yes.
And you were sweating.
No,
is it possible?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Oh, so you hadn't gone to the gym yet?
No. I said I was working out. I was playing pickleball. I just wanted to avoid saying I was playing pickleball.
Okay. But so you were sweaty. So I'm wondering if that sticky sweat, that saltiness attracted the doggo. I mean,
it's possible, but again, she's pretty obsessed with the ball, and it's possible. It's possible. It could have been. I was looking at my phone, so I don't exactly know what happened, but it could have been like, oh, what's this? Clunk. And this is a dog that, the boxers were bred to bring down bulls. Like, if she wanted to, she could rip your face off. You know what I mean? Like,
so she could definitely rip your penis off.
Oh, without even a thought, like just accidentally ripping it off. Came very close. Very close.
Okay, this is an important question. I'm sorry, but I need to ask. Do you think if it was like... as a defense mechanism, you could will your penis to become erect so that it might like snap out of the dog's mouth?
No.
Or would that only make it easier?
Honestly, if you had asked me that before this incident, I would probably say, yeah, I could, no problem. But having felt the clamp down, there's no way. There is no possible way.
Okay, well, now I'm just thankful. I'm just going to give a shout out to my precious dog, Butch, who would never bite my penis.
That's what I thought, Matt. That's what I thought. You don't know.
So you think there might come a day?
There might come a day. Just don't be flouncing it around. Not that I was flouncing it around. I was just sitting there. But it was in workout shorts, like tennis shorts. So there's not a lot, like very thin fabric.
Sometimes because I haven't had a dog for very long in my life. It's really been a couple months, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But sometimes like I'll get in the shower, I'll come out and I won't be in a towel, and I'll just walk through the living room to grab my phone or something.
Right.
And then the dog doesn't look at me any different, and I'm like, don't you find this weird, man? Like, I'm always in clothes. You can see very little of my skin, and now you could see all of it, and you don't want to take a second look? You don't raise an eyebrow?
They don't care. They're weird that way.
Yeah, it's very odd to me. Because, like, certainly if a human walked by naked that I was not used to seeing naked, it would register.
Yes, of course. I mean, I guess
dogs are not as smart as people try to tell us they are.
Well, they don't care. They have no hang-ups about that kind of thing.
But even them, they're not naked. They're covered in fur.
Right. I was gonna say, like, because there's another dog in the house, right? Or is it just the one dog?
No, there's 2 cats.
So 2 cats. So if you shaved one of the cats... You think the dog would notice? Like,
yeah. Well,
what the hell?
Yeah.
What's happening here? This cat is completely hairless now.
Okay, well, all this to say, I would notice if someone shaved the cat.
Oh, of course you would, but would the dog?
I mean, I notice when the dog gets a haircut. I compliment him. Sometimes I don't notice when Jill gets a haircut, but when the dog gets a haircut, it's very noticeable because it's all around.
Wait, what kind of dog is it? It needs a haircut.
It's a flat-coated retriever mix or something.
Wow.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the birth certificate, JD. But okay, well, upshot of this, penis is fine.
Penis is fine. Penis is fine.
Okay, good. Thank God. Well, I mean, I had something. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's not nearly as bad as that.
Yeah.
But from the department of, were things always this way, or am I just old?
Okay.
So, I went to a restaurant on the weekend. It is more of a wine bar. That's something you should know before I tell this story.
Okay.
So in other words, sometimes people go, they just get a glass of wine, but they do have a full dinner menu.
Right.
And their food is supposed to be quite good. So my friend and I were excited to try it. And the waiter comes over, and this is the first thing he says. First thing. Yo, off rip, are you guys ordering food?
Off rip?
Yeah, I spared you like a cool accent, but like, yo, off rip, y'all. Well, no, he didn't say y'all. Yo, off rip, are you ordering food? Like, because again, some people are just there to drink wine.
Right.
But is this an insane thing to say? Because I understand it's current slang, but I guess my point is I don't remember people ever using any slang from any decade. Like 10 years ago, even, right? Not that long ago. I don't remember someone coming to the table and being like,
right.
Yo, peeps.
Yo, peeps. What's
the halibut's on fleek. Yeah, that would be if a waiter greeted me with a Budweiser WhatsApp, I would love it.
Yeah.
I would. It's cooler. Well, it's not cooler, but it's way funnier than using like current slang.
Well, I've never heard that. Like off rip? Like what
oh, you never heard off rip?
No. What does it mean? Like what's
like before we begin, off the top.
Like yeah, okay. But where does the rip come from? Like off, like ripping of the ticket or ripping?
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Off rip. That's something we can look into.
Is it a wave maybe? Like off the? I don't know. Anyways.
Well,
I will consult Urban Dictionary as soon as we get off here.
Yeah, if you thought I was old telling the story now, you know how much older JD is than me.
Off rip. Yeah, no, I don't like it.
Yeah, but even like lit, which no one cool really says anymore.
Right.
Like I swear I never heard anyone say anything, any item on the menu, like no one ever said the pierogies are lit today, right? But now I do feel like people might say the pierogies slap.
Right.
How the pierogies? They slap.
Yeah.
And it's now it got into my head because then after the off rip and all the slang, then I looked at the menu and I said, we've talked about this before. I always have to ask for a lay of the land of the menu.
Yes.
And I said, what would you say is the bangers on this menu?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be saying that. But he kind of like goaded me into it, I feel.
Right. So was the whole interaction from then on like just slang after slang? Like you guys were hipsters talking to each other?
Not so much, but like if you are wondering whether the casualness and the over hipsteriness of it led to sort of someone that didn't seem very invested in their job or being personable, then you would be correct.
Gotcha.
Not a service.
Right.
I enjoyed. But I was thinking the one exception I have to this is slang. You got to go back a few decades from the 1950s at a diner.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the diner is timeless.
Yes.
The slang is timeless. So like hun, sweetheart.
Okay.
Lovely.
It's still acceptable today.
It still hits.
Yes, it hits.
As they say.
Yes.
Facts.
But it has to be a diner.
It has to be a diner.
Right.
But this is something I'd like you to keep an ear out for when you go out.
Okay.
see if people are talking in slang more.
Okay.
In the service industry. That's all I ask of you.
Yeah. I will report back.
Okay. More importantly, you know that our brand here at Is This Good
Sucking
is
and
PSSF.
Yes.
Yeah. Where the P stands for piss and the S stands for shit and the second S stands for sucking and the F stands for fucking.
Yeah.
So you also know that something we've talked about many times is air travel.
Yes.
So I didn't want to talk about this. But when I see a CNN headline that comes across and it says, Delta flight forced to turn around because of diarrhea incident.
Yeah.
I mean, we almost have to do it.
Yeah, it would be weird if we didn't.
It would be weirder if we didn't. And I have to say, so again, that tells you all you need to know. Delta flight forced to turn out because of diarrhea incident. JD, the flight was coming from Atlanta, your hometown. Another reason why we have to talk about it. this had to me remind me of the Miranda Lambert selfie controversy
Okay.
in the sense that at first when I just read the headline like, oh, Miranda Lambert upset that people are taking selfies at a concert, I was like, why? Miranda Lambert seems at fault here. So what? Two people that were standing by the stage just turned around, snapped a selfie,
Right.
and 1 second later it was over. And then I saw the picture, and it was people. They were all standing. There was like a light. They were posing. They took a bunch of different pictures.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that is really annoying because it's like 6 people with their back turned to her at a seated concert, right?
Exactly.
So same thing here. I was like, okay, so someone had diarrhea on a plane.
Right.
What's the big D? The big D is diarrhea.
Yeah.
But apparently, this person had diarrhea all down the plane, like
Yeah.
all down the aisle.
Yeah, it was
Like,
a sprint,
there's-
right? Like they were sprinting for the restroom. That's what I envision.
Yeah. Well, did you see the footage?
I did not. I didn't know there was footage.
Oh, there's footage now. It's like
Oh.
someone leaving the plane and just taking a video with their phone. And it's like towels and blankets just thrown on the ground to cover this disaster. Like, did you hear the pilot recording
No, I didn't.
from the cockpit? It's like a classic, like,
Yeah.
It's the pilot going, yeah, it's a biohazard issue. We had a passenger. He had diarrhea all through the plane. So they want us to come back to Atlanta.
Oh, God.
And I know it's again. I don't want to be talking about this, but we have to. Though here's a cool. Speaking of slang, I'd like this to be introduced into the vernacular. I say, "Oh, JD, I can't do the show today. I have diarrhea."
Okay.
You say, "How bad is it?" I say, "All the way through the plane."
Right. Okay.
Right? That's
Yeah. Enough
shows
said. Enough said.
enough.
Has
So
that
the
ever
one-
happened to you? Like, didn't make it?
No, but okay, but you said, okay, so you envision the person running for the bathroom. Can you explain to me still how there's substance on the floor?
Well, the person might have been wearing a skirt. It might have been a female person wearing a skirt.
woman.
That's what Rachel said right away when I showed her the article. She was like,
Oh,
well,
honestly, yeah, that's it. You just cracked the case.
yeah. I mean, it has
Yeah.
to be, right?
No, you're right. I was thinking, you're right. It was sexist. I was thinking, man, only a man could befoul a plane like this. And then I was thinking, man, usually wearing pants.
Right.
And usually underwear.
Yeah. But you're
And
talking. Say if it's a woman wearing a thong, and a skirt or a dress or anything with an opening at the bottom, forget it. There's nothing. The little string isn't holding anything back. It's not containing anything.
That's it. That's exactly what happened. Okay, which makes this all the more interesting. So then, of course, I had to read more than one article just to see if I had one facts.
Yeah,
I was
man,
gonna say.
due diligence. I love it.
This is from The Guardian. There's a quote. Passengers reportedly, including the one suffering diarrhea, were allowed to reboard after an 8-hour delay, making it to Barcelona on Saturday afternoon with no further incident.
They
Yeah, I'm
let the
gonna read you this.
perpetrator back on the plane?
That's what I'm going to point out. You say the perpetrator, I say this is the bravest moment in the history of the world.
You're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I wish I had that
Because-
self-confidence.
I mean, sometimes like you'll have to go to the bathroom in a public place, a restaurant or something, and then it's like a single stall. You get out, you see the person coming in after you, you're like, but I'm never going to see that person again, and you walk straight out. To come back on after an 8-hour delay.
I mean, yeah. You know what? You booked your flight. You want to go to Spain. Presumably it's all out of him or her, but let's assume it's a her. And you know what? It could have been a baby, like a child. That occurred to me as well.
You don't say passengers reportedly, including the one suffering diarrhea, and it's a baby.
Yeah, I guess.
And it's not funny if it's a baby.
No.
Well, I mean, just because they can't control things. It's much funnier if it's a woman wearing a skirt.
Yeah.
Perhaps she's going commando. I don't know. That's not for me to say. But I just think, I'd be like, I'm going to catch the next flight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's enough time to run to the Hudson News, cram yourself full of Imodium. And there's, of course, no shortage of bathrooms in an airport.
Right.
But how many times does the source of the delay get back on? Like, it's usually like, man refused to wear mask and punched flight attendant. Like, that person doesn't get to come back on the plane.
That's right. I mean, it wasn't their fault, obviously, presumably. But I think, now that the wheels are turning, I think that person, let's just assume, let's speculate. Let's just say it's a woman. She had a problem before she got on the plane, hence the lack of underwear, right?
Oh, okay, interesting.
Right? So now she's saying, okay, I think it's taking care of itself. I'm one pair of panties down, but that's okay. It's only 10 hours to Barcelona or wherever they're going.
I landed in Barcelona. No, I would say it's like probably 7-hour flight.
7 hours, okay. So that's doable. If you think you're already empty, I took some Imodium, but then it just came back, and she didn't even have the underwear. All hell broke loose.
Well, flying, it just keeps getting better and better.
Right.
Much like they needed on that plane, JD. Let's get to some quick housekeeping.
Oh yes, please.
Join our Patreon, patreon.com/isthisgood. That is the best way to support us and make sure we can keep doing the show, and make sure I can keep throwing JD a few shekels so he doesn't stop wanting to do this. We had a great live stream hangout.
We did. Caused a big stir.
Go on
the Discord. The discussion of public sexual relations. Should I just leave it at that? I mean,
no, we can tell that. We can say what the. So basically, Maher, who's a Patreon contributor, he we were sort of winding down the call actually, and he was like, I have to settle this, but if we don't have time. I was like, no, go ahead.
Yeah.
And he proceeded to tell a great story about seeing a movie with his father. I think it was it Barbie?
No, it was Mission Impossible.
Oh, it was Mission Impossible. And the theater was completely empty. And they were sitting near the back and in the same row, but a few aisles away. Not to get back into visualizing a movie theater again.
Please.
There were two teens, and they were having full-on sex.
Yes.
In Mission Impossible. And it was empty. His dad did not, see or notice, but obviously Maher was quite distracted, and the settle this was like, what do you do in this situation? Do you go get an usher? Do you tell them to pipe down? Anyways, a spirited debate ensued.
Yeah. Well, a lot of different perspectives. A lot of people, some people are like, hey, let them have their fun. Others, like me, you rat them out immediately. Confront them even.
Yeah.
So
you're a narc.
Yeah.
So yes, go to patreon.com/isthisgood. That is again the best way to support the show.
I am hardly a narc, by the way. I just do not want to be involved with somebody's sexual. You're part of it. You're part of it.
But I think if people are older, then you think, oh, these people, part of the jollies is them knowing that I'm here, and I don't want that. Like, I don't want to be part of that.
Right.
But if it's teens, I think it's more likely less that they like to be watched and more that there's nowhere else for them to go.
Well, there are plenty of places they could go. Then
name three.
The library, a public restroom. That's a gay guy's been doing it for literally decades, for centuries actually.
The library? What?
You
a
can
place
find
where it's quieter than a movie theater?
You can find a corner of a library.
I don't know.
Now libraries are empty.
Watching too many internet videos. Libraries are empty now. Actually, that's true.
An open house. If you're passing
an open house, that's an interesting one.
Jackson, my 15-year-old, and his girlfriend, also 15, went into We're wandering this streets of the neighborhood, and went into $1 million open house and faked their way through.
Like, what did they say?
We're in the market. We're looking around. They wrote down a fake realtor on the where they ask you to sign in and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they just toured this house on their own. There was a drum set that Jackson's girlfriend was playing on. They were jumping on the bed. It was like, that's respect to you.
That sounds like an 80s movie.
I know, right?
And then somehow accidentally they get the house.
Yeah.
Or like the realtor, they're jumping on the bed, the realtor leaves, locks the house, and now they have the house for the weekend kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it writes itself.
Yeah.
I was also going to say that next week's Great Beyond is going to be Patreon only. So now would be a good time to sign up or sign up for a free trial if you want. Again, you do the math on when those 7 days work out best for you.
Exactly right. Those are the spicy ones. The Patreon only. That's when we just let it all hang out.
Yeah, if you thought this was spicy, wait till we get to next week. Go to isthisgoodpod.com to cop some merch. Mm-hmm. Practicing my slang, JD.
Love it.
Send me emails at isthisgoodpod@gmail.com and subscribe on YouTube and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I have a piece of follow-up from the Trey episode.
Okay.
Which we just released. A very funny episode. Go back and listen to it if for some reason you haven't. So at the end of the show, subjective trivia was, what is the best no fear slogan of all time? No fear is like that 90s t-shirt brand. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Mm-hmm. No fear. Mm-hmm. So Sean C. wrote to me and said, Matt, I'm sorry to say I think you've been duped by a Christian knockoff of the no fear brand. When I heard the most toys slogan on the pod, it sounded so familiar to me, and your observation of it being biblical was spot on. How do I know this? Because my dad owned and wore this exact shirt with a Bible verse and all.
Interesting.
So, what was the... Oh, yeah. He who dies with the most toys still dies, no fear.
Right.
So I kind of was like, oh, damn, did I get duped? And... So I looked it up, and he sent me a link to the Christian version, which is called Real Fear, not No Fear.
Okay.
And it says, he who dies with the most toys still dies, just like the No Fear shirt. But underneath, in smaller letters, it says, and again, I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Matthew 19:24, Real Fear.
Okay.
Whoa.
How small was that print? Holy cow.
It's pretty small. Yeah. I was just thinking, like, analogies were so weird in olden times.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have that many things to compare to each other. You know, it's like we could eat an analogy for, like, how hard it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God.
Right.
It's like some guy looking to his right, he's like, oh, well, there's a camel. And he looks to his left, and he looks in his pouch, he's got a needle.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it would be easier for that camel to go. Like, what? Those two things, doesn't, like, it would be like me now being like, looking to my right and being like, 'tis easier for a fidget spinner to pass through the disk drive of a PS4 than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Anyways, I'm just saying, we got so many more things to compare to each other now. Yeah. We're just, life is a lot easier than biblical times. Or, well, technically that wasn't written actually during biblical, it was written after. But anyway, that's not important right now. Anyways, the good news is, I looked it up and I was right. He who dies with the most toys still dies is actually a No Fear shirt.
Okay.
But then I realized that this Real Fear company was just taking actual No Fear slogans and then twisting them to make them biblical. So like this one, life is just sudden death over time and the clock is running. Mm-hmm. And typically then it would just say no fear. But they said life is just sudden death over time and the clock is running. And as it is appointed for men once to die, and after this comes judgment, Hebrews 9:27, Real Fear. I mean, they're catchy.
Wow.
Last one I found. Life's not too short. It's just that you're dead for so long. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Matthew 28. Real Fear.
Religion
so
just
these are available on the internet.
Just ruins everything, you know? It's taking the fun out of all these
already shitty shirts.
Yeah.
I tried to find, like, was this like some preacher somewhere? Like, there's an article to be written about these shirts.
100%.
Because I bet most people don't know they exist. But because we're not in the Christian community. Maybe in the Christian community, just like we don't know certain Christian rock bands, or maybe these were popular. And I'd like to see an article written about how these real No Fear shirts were twisted into Real Fear. But I couldn't find anything on the internet.
I just love that. Respect to them for trying to make you scared again after No Fear comes along and encourages you to not be afraid, and they just bring it back and they're like, no, you should definitely be afraid.
No,
real fear.
What was the thing that you said you wanted to bring up to me about new slang? Actually,
Oh yes, beige flags. Have you heard of this?
yes. I'm not. I hope you did the research as to exactly what they are, because I'm still a little bit confused.
Yeah, I was confused too. Basically, it's this thing that's taken over TikTok. Not taken over, but I see it pop up, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And basically, it's a beige flag. So somewhere between a red flag and a green flag if you're dating, like, oh, that guy's, he's a sociopath. That's a red flag, But a beige flag is like a quirky, amusing, bordering on weird without crossing into full-fledged creepiness. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like
here's some examples.
Okay, yeah, give me an example.
Like, my boyfriend loves roller coasters, something like that. You know what I mean? Like a grown man who is obsessed with roller coasters, or plays a water sport, or takes baths, or talks to animals, or has no attention to detail at all. Like what
That's
I saw.
a red flag.
Yeah. Well, yes. There again, they border on. It depends on who you are, right? Like.
Right, you're saying one man's red flag is
just
another man's beige flag.
Beige flag, exactly right. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think of one that I saw. Like, my boyfriend, I saw this. It said, my boyfriend has no attention to detail. His brother was getting divorced, and he has no idea why. Like, he never thought to ask, why are you divorcing my sister-in-law?
Okay, yeah. See, I'm going to argue that's lack of curiosity, which is different than no attention to detail. Is like, my boyfriend, I was at the doctor's appointment to get my sonogram, and my boyfriend didn't show up because he has no attention to detail,
right?
And didn't look at the calendar,
right?
Or didn't write this down, or
right?
Or didn't remember my birthday. That to me is a red.
That's a
or
red
it's going
flag.
to lead to red flag situations.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they could. Beige flags could definitely lead, or they could be red flags without you. But right now, it's just okay. It's quirky. He's very nonchalant. He's very, doesn't care about the details. So I asked Rachel what some of my beige flags might be. First one out of her mouth was, until pickleball came along, which was a year ago this month, I've literally never had a hobby. Like, never.
Oh, interesting. I guess that is a hobby. So you never... Well, you played drums, or do you not consider that a hobby?
Not really. I mean, I was trying to make a job out of it, and I did the basketball.
And now you're trying to become a pickleball professional.
No, this is it. This is the first thing that I've done that is sort of hobby-like. It is hobby-like. It's a hobby, and I have no aspirations of making it into a money-making thing. Like podcasting, when I got into filmmaking, all that stuff, I turned into a career. And the drums were the same thing, right? So,
but I would argue that when you started podcasting, because you had, in like 2006, you had a podcast about, was it about, no, it was about...
It was about reality television.
Real World? No, what's the one where they all... Big Brother.
Big Brother, yeah. Well, yeah, it was about American Idol was where it started, but yeah. And then Big Brother and stuff like that.
But so that was a hobby, wasn't it? Because there in 2006, there was no chance of making it a career.
I suppose. Yes. Okay, so I had one hobby.
Okay, you read.
I do read, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like defending you from Rachel. Okay, but no, that's a good one. Okay, he has no hobbies.
Yeah. Okay, another one. And this is sort of, I don't believe in kids' music, right? So I've literally never played kids' music for my kids, right? So
green flag.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. But to some people, it might be a beige flag, maybe even a red flag. Like, there's never been Wiggles, no the Sharon, Lois, and Bram, no Raffi. You want to listen to music? There's an entire world of music out there. Just to listen to the White Album. You know what I mean? Like,
well, let's be honest. Octopus's Garden is a children's song.
Well, yes.
I mean, so you'll tell them about the octopus that has a garden, but not Baby Beluga that lives in the deep blue sea.
Right. That's exactly.
And you're only laughing because you were probably allowed to listen to Raffi, and you know what that is.
I was allowed to listen to Raffi, I guess.
That's how your kids rebel. They're like cranking Baby Beluga.
Right, exactly.
No, I won't turn it down, Dad.
Fuck you, Mom and Dad. I'll listen to Raffi if I want to.
Snorting a line and cranking up like "I Love You, You Love Me" by Barney the Dinosaur.
Oh God! I know like grown adults who drive around in their cars with, yes, like Baby Shark and all these stupid songs playing in their cars. Are like, why? Why would you do that to yourself? Oh,
Yeah.
my kids. I'm like, I don't know. Like, play Led Zeppelin. They'll love that just as much.
I guess it's the same reason that parents say, I mean, I'm not a parent, but obviously, but the same way parents say, I'm never making more than one dinner. You know, dinner is what we're making for me and my spouse.
Yeah.
And the kids are going to eat that. And
Right.
then, cut to, and they're making dino nuggets and for one, and then spaghetti with oil and butter and no greens for the other, So I'd like to say I'm not going to listen to kids' music.
Okay.
But
you never know.
But I don't know. Raffi was not bad. You got to admit Raffi's
Rafi's
the
pretty
best
good.
of us.
You're a friend, and my friend, and my friend,
And my
is
friend
your friend.
is your friend.
Yeah.
The more we get together, the happier we'll be. That's a nice lesson.
I love that song because my name was in the there's, how they go, there's Lucy and something and something, and then Jason was one of the names. So shout out to Rafi.
Well, you could probably re-record one with Lincoln and Jackson and.
No, thank you. Nope.
Okay. Any more beige flags?
Beige flags. A couple more. I balance glasses like drinks, like a full pint of Guinness. I will balance on beside me on the couch cushion. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Beige flag.
That's beige flag. And I like old-timey sayings. Like I'll refer to conditioner as like cream rinse. I can't
Is
help
that what
it.
it used to be called?
Yeah, that's what my dad called it. So
When did it make the transition?
I don't know.
When was the conditioner vibe shift? I wasn't made aware of this.
I don't know, but cream rinse is so much more fun to say. I mean, that's what it is.
A lot more fun to say. I'm going to start saying that.
Yeah, and I'll say
Cream
things like,
rinse.
well, if I had my druthers, I'd always call conditioner.
This is your best beige flag.
Yeah, it's
Because it is like, I feel like it's weirdly when it's women doing it on TikTok, it almost seems like they're subtly bragging about like, oh, kind of how funny and cute is this little quirky thing that my boyfriend does.
Right.
But a lot of these seem to me like reasons Jerry Seinfeld would have broken up with his girlfriends, right?
Yeah, totally. Exactly.
Like,
That's a great way of putting it.
Like beige flag, she eats peas one at a time.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Break up. Beige flag, she liked a commercial for Cotton Dockers that I didn't like.
Yeah, those are great. So do you have any beige flags you'd like to share?
These are hard to think of. I know I'm a relatively kind of quirky person, so I know I have a ton. Like, okay, I'll say some that I came up with. You tell me if they're actually beige flags.
Okay. I've seen a couple of beige flags in this episode already, so I'll tell you what they are.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead. What are they?
You like to have the waiter take you through the menu experience.
Yeah, okay.
Take me through this experience.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then you say a hard G all the time. Banger. That's a banger of a menu item. That's
No, my Montreal accent is annoying.
It's a beige flag. It's a beige flag.
I think I mentioned on a recent show that Jill goes nuts when I say iron.
Yeah.
Iron.
Who called you out? Was that who? One of the guests called you out on that.
Yes, I know, but Jill's been calling me out since we met, so she hates it. Okay.
So what do you got?
If we're walking down the street, me and Jill, I will only walk on the left side of her.
Okay.
I don't like being on the right side of her. So if I'm somehow on the right side, I will stop and outflank her.
Wow. Why?
I don't know, because when we're holding hands, I only want to use my right hand, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm not ambidextrous.
I just watched an episode of Seinfeld where Costanza he can't make a pass at a woman unless it's from his left side. Or do you remember that episode where he basically wrestles his girlfriend around? Yeah. So it's because she's deaf in one ear. She doesn't want him to sit on that side, but he can't make his move. Anyways, you just reminded me of that, but carry on.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. I've eaten the same breakfast every day for a decade.
Yeah. Yep. You want to share what
two-
that is? Well, let me guess.
Yeah.
It's like chicken sausage,
Uh-huh.
and it's scrambled with eggs and like peppers and onions. Is that it?
No, it's close. It's 2 eggs, spinach,
Spinach. Yeah.
black beans, chicken sausage.
Right.
Now, I guess I will admit that I've kind of taken out the chicken sausage lately.
Oh.
Just
Okay.
going a little bit lighter, but
Yeah.
I wanted more protein in the morning. Anyways, this is a bad one. Playing with my gum. So I'm chewing gum, it loses flavor. I know I should be going to the garbage, but before I do, I will take it out and roll it between forefinger and thumb.
God.
Okay,
That's
borderline red flag.
borderline red flag. Borderline red flag.
Okay, what do you think about this one? Never seen Titanic.
Oh, interesting. Wow. How is that
don't know.
possible?
I don't know how it happened.
Wait, we're talking 99? No. What year did Titanic come out?
I wanted to say 97, but
Okay. What were you doing?
yeah, around then, late 90s. I think I honestly was probably so angsty that I thought, yeah, it is 97. I thought like, oh, this is like a romance movie, which I don't want to see.
Right.
And then it just left theaters, and then I don't know. Then I thought, well, everyone says you need to see it on a big screen. I really don't know why, but I've never seen it.
You should
Even though it's been
watch it.
re-released in theaters.
Yeah. You should
No,
watch
I've heard
it.
it's actually quite good. People tell me.
I mean,
apparently it made some money. I don't know.
It did make some money. It's James Cameron, so you know what you're getting in that department. It's
Guy
worth
loves boats
watching. You
and
should
water.
watch it. You should watch it. Has Jill seen it?
Of course,
Does she like it?
loves it. Oh, I don't know. I assume she liked it. I don't know.
Wow.
She's younger than me, so I'm sure it made quite an impression on her. That Leo DeCap.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 2 more here. You tell me if this is a beige flag. Haven't shaved my beard since 2004. What am I hiding under there?
Well, same, man. Look at me.
Right. Okay, so do you think it's a beige flag?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay. This is a weird one. No one in my family has ever been divorced.
Wow.
Let me show you the extent of it. Both sets of grandparents
Yeah.
married.
Same.
My parents not divorced. My mother had 2 brothers. They're both not divorced. My dad has a sister, not divorced. Then my sister's been married for 10 years. I have cousins that are married and not divorced. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of people.
Literally no one.
No one.
Huh. I have 2 cousins that were divorced, and I have aunts. Yeah,
So sick, bro. So sick.
it's like so modern.
So anyways, I don't know if that's a beige flag, but...
Well, there's a lot
I'm
of
sure-
pressure. That's pressure on you, though. Right?
I know. I really... Believe me. I've thought about it.
What if somebody got divorced in the family? Would it be bad? Like, would it be a scandal? Would people...
Not a scandal. I mean, this isn't Jane Austen times.
Well,
but
I don't know.
it wouldn't, it is... I thought about it because, like, let's say you come from you're a child of divorce, right?
Yeah.
You could go one of 2 ways. You could go, I'm going to put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm not going to get married till I'm, like, 1,000% sure. And even then, I'm not going to give up on this relationship because, I know what it was like to be the child of a divorced parents.
Right.
Or you could go, my parents got divorced. Everyone else in my family is divorced. It kind of sucks, but everyone's fine. It's not a huge deal. So I'll just go into this and hope for the best. But if we get, it's not the end of the world. Which in a weird way is almost like a healthier attitude.
Yeah, I agree
Isn't
with
it?
that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's...
Okay.
Yeah. It's...
So it's my parents' fault. I told them. They should have gotten divorced because it might help explain some of my neuroses. But instead, they were just normal.
Right.
And then all the blame is on me. I wish we could have spread it around.
Right, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's interesting. I was talking to Tass about this the other day. All the no dunks guys still together with their significant others.
But they haven't been married for that long.
Well, longer than most.
I guess so.
But even like Trey and Laura
what's the
have been
number?
married for over
Like, you know,
10
it's like they
years.
say most small businesses fail within the first 5 years or something.
Yeah.
What is it for marriages?
I-
When's the sweet spot of divorce?
And what isn't the 7-year itch they used to call it back in
If
in
you're
the
at a
day?
diner.
Exactly. That's my
Hey!
beige flag rearing.
Hey,
its ugly
Daddy-O, you got the 7-year itch.
head.
Enjoy this ambrosia salad.
Ugh.
Okay, there's one last thing I want to talk about. Saved it for the end because possible spoilers, but I truly don't think the show can be spoiled because they tell you the premise in the first 10 seconds.
True.
The show is Jury Duty. It was on Freevee.
Yes.
And I finished watching it last night. I know I'm late. It's been up for a while. So if for some reason you don't want to hear anything about Jury Duty, even though it's pretty much impossible to spoil, I'm going to do spoilers in 3, 2, 1. The guy dies. So I will say off rip,
Off rip, yeah.
very funny.
Very funny.
And I don't know who else is nominated, but James Marsden deserves an Emmy for this performance.
He absolutely
is
does.
so fucking good and funny in this. And from a production perspective, it's like pretty mind-blowing, pretty brilliantly done.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, I guess twofold question. One, did you like it? And two, the bigger question, did you think it was mean? Oh, I guess I should say what the premise is. So basically, the premise is ostensibly they're shooting a documentary about how the jury duty process works.
That's yes.
And so there's a documentary crew following these jurors. So all the jurors know there's a documentary. Here's the thing. None of it is real. Everyone is an actor except for one guy who thinks it's real, who thinks the trial is real, and who thinks that they're just shooting a documentary about the jury process. But everyone else, from the judge to the defendant to the prosecutor to everyone else on the jury, is an actor. And this whole thing is staged for his benefit. Mm-hmm. It's, Truman Show style. And so we are just watching one man, all this crazy shit happen around him, and how this one man who thinks it's real is dealing with it.
Right.
So that's why I ask you, did you think it was mean?
I think it could have been mean, but partly because of the casting and partly because I think that as a production they were conscientious of things going too far in one way or the other. I felt like I was in good hands with the production, honestly. And they lucked out with the casting. They cast it. The guy's absolutely pitch perfect. Like, he's just a normal dude, a very good-natured guy. Lets some things slide, some things not slide. And it actually, all of the fucked up situations that they put him in, he always comes out in a good light. Like, they always show him in the best possible light, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, I agree with you 100%. But, like, I think it kind of says something about, like you said, they lucked out with the casting. Like, he's this nice, polite guy. But guess what? Nice, polite guys are easy marks.
Yes.
So what are we saying about, like, how we treat kind, trusting people as, they're the ones that's easiest to take advantage of? And I will tell you, like, I'm not, like, clutching my pearls over this. Again, I thought it was really funny. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
As it went on, I was like, oh, shit. At some point, they're going to tell him. And by the way, like, they all become friends, obviously.
Yes.
And I'm, like, dreading the part where they're going to tell him this is all fake. And this has been, like, 3 weeks of his life.
Yeah.
Where everything is fake. Every relationship that he thinks he's building, every friend he thinks he's making is a paid actor.
Right.
So I'm starting to dread it. And then what I really didn't like was the way that when they reveal it, like, he is sitting down and the judge kind of turns to him and says, "This is my first trial." Why? Because I'm an actor. And everyone's an actor.
Right.
And they basically go through this whole rigmarole to say, really, this trial is fake, but the trial of you was real. And we, the judgment has come down and you are a good person. I'm like, what the fuck? No, that's not what this thing was. Like, that's such fucking bullshit to make it feel, like, wrapped up a bit.
Well,
but I just wish they were more honest with it. It's a prank. It's a fucking prank show.
Right. I think they did that to soften the blow because they had no idea how he would react. And they gave him money too. They give him like $100,000, right?
Yeah, but I was reading that it took him a long time to come back to reality. Like, apparently for a long time after, he was asking the producers, like, wait, was this real?
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
Yeah.
And they're like, what about the guy when this guy came? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
And it really fucked with him. And I mean, they hired a psychologist or psychiatrist, to help transition him back into the real world. Yeah. But okay, so you're doing psychological damage. I'm like, again, I'm not pearl clutching. I really enjoyed watching this.
Right.
And even knowing this, I would still watch it. It is really funny and it's really well done.
Yes.
But I also not going to pretend that if this happened to me, I swear to God, I would never recover.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that go on Survivor who have awful psychological problems afterwards. Like, they can't trust the people that they work with and stuff like that. Like, just because if they've been like backstabbed, which is part of the game of Survivor, but they really have a hard time sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes just getting back into society in the real world. And you're,
and that's when they know,
right.
Like they have agency.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like in this one, he has no control, no agency.
Yeah.
So it's even more fucked up.
But it makes for such amazing television because you're right. Sure. The tension that's building throughout each episode as they get deeper and deeper and deeper into the trial and the prank and all of it, it's like, how is this guy going to react? That's part of the drama. Like, how is he going to react when he finds out that none of this is real? And yeah, it's kind of fucked up. But again, I think that they found the right guy in that he was, easygoing enough that I read too that he had a hard time getting back into life in general, but I think he was, able to do it because he's such a grounded guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, he could withstand the shock of it. And apparently he's still friends with some of the cast members as well.
Yeah. I read the same thing too, but like, don't tell me those people they feel guilty as shit. I guarantee you.
The actors?
Yeah. Like, yes. I read the quote was like something like, we felt bad deceiving him, but he was so nice. We did it to show him in the best light, to celebrate him. I was like, come on, fuck you. You got paid to do a job.
Right.
And it was a lauded show. So now as the actor, you're only benefiting both monetarily and exposure wise. Don't pretend that it was to show. Like, that's not what it was. I'm sorry. That's not what this thing was. Like, and even if it is, we all recognize that when a relationship isn't consensual, or when one person thinks that something is happening and the other person is deliberately deceiving them, then no true, genuine relationship is formed because one person is lying to you.
Right. Well,
I mean, like, this is in every teen movie where it's like, hey, quarterback of the football team, I bet you can't take this Uggo and make her prom queen. And then, and then she finds out that it was, you were being nice to me because someone bet you $10 that,
right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I guess it's a bad example because then in the third act, they always fall in love
exactly.
anyways. But I think if that situation was in the real human world, we'd be like, oh my God, what a dickhead this guy is being.
Yeah, I don't know. I also think that this situation, it's perfect that it was a jury. You know what I mean? Like, because when you're on a jury, it's not like you would make friends with people on a jury necessarily. I guess if you're a sequestered.
If you're sequestered, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I just kind of wish he had reacted. Do you remember that Chris Farley sketch in SNL where
the coffee?
The fake Colombian coffee? Yeah. Like those old, yeah. I'll just explain it because now this is just hanging there. But there's an old sketch, Chris Farley, SNL, where they used to do these ads on TV where they would do hidden cameras and replace people's coffee at restaurants with instant Colombian coffee.
Right.
And then the people would be like, oh, wow, I didn't notice a difference. And then they'd be like, see, it's instant, but it's just as good as regular coffee. And then the Chris Farley, they give it to him, and they're like, sir, we've replaced your coffee with 100% instant Colombian coffee. He's like, you lied to me. You lied to me! And then he just destroys the restaurant for like 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Just destroys it. I just really wanted him to like rip the microphone off and start punching. Because it's literally like the game, the Fincher movie. Like they take him into the room and everyone's there, like the bailiff and the actors. And he's like, oh, you're all fake? Like literally like in the game. I mean, anyways, it's an amazing production. It's so well done. Again, I don't think it shouldn't exist, but I think that they tried almost too hard to make it seem like they were doing a good thing.
Right.
When I just would have preferred to be, we paid him, it was super funny.
Yeah.
And we got him a shrink afterwards, and he's doing kind of okay. Then like for it to be like, oh, it's all about celebrating this one man. No, it's not. Anyway, that's what I think. I recommend.
Same. And I think that it's also like, it's almost like they didn't expect it to get that far. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, how are we going to get out of this? How are we going to get out of this without egg on our face? Or maybe like production up above, like the chat, like Freevee is like, guys, what if this goes badly? Like, let's turn this into a positive somehow. But yeah, but ultimately I'm not clutching my pearls at all. He walks away with $100,000. He looks great. Is he a little bit damaged from it? I guess. I mean, he did sign up to participate in a production of some kind. He thought it was a documentary, but it was a prank on him. But it is so goddamn funny. And you're 100% right. Marsden is amazing in it. It's amazing. And all of the actors actually, like, I can't even imagine what the production would have, like their schedule would have been like. They allude to it in the final episode of how, you know, they're union actors, so they have to take breaks at a certain time. They would have to eat twice sometimes because
that part was so funny.
It's
where,
just crazy. Like
Kirk Fox said he's eating in frnt of Ronald, the Mark. And he's like, oh, not sure what I'm going to get to eat again. And after he had just eaten. You know something interesting about that guy? He's a stand-up, and he had a bit or a recurring role on Parks and Rec. Yeah. And then when Jury Duty was happening, they found out that the guy, Ronald, the Mark, really loved Parks and Rec. And they had a whole storyline for Kirk. Yeah. And then they realized, like, shit, if he's seen Parks and Rec, that means he's seen this guy. So they made him like hang out more in the background and not have like a main story with him, so that he wouldn't recognize him. Yeah.
Amazing. Like it almost got blown then, but even still, I guess he was playing a different guy altogether. But anyways, full recommendation from me. Thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. And honestly, it's so rare to watch a comedy and laugh out loud these days, I find. Yeah. For me, it's this. I Think You Should Leave, obviously. Mm-hmm. Which obviously is not narrative. Well, I guess this isn't narrative either. And What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah. Yeah. Same. And then is there anything else that's like actually funny that's supposed to be a comedy?
Scripted comedy or not really? I mean, not off the top of my head.
We gotta go fucking psychologically damage someone else.
Yeah. Jury Duty 2. Let's do it.
Jury Duty 2. Joe Millionaire. Remember Joe Millionaire?
Yeah. Well, Joe Blow. That was the same idea.
Oh, Joe Blow Show. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
Joe Blow. Yeah.
Did you watch that?
No.
Joe Schmo Show.
Joe Schmo. That's it. No, I never watched it.
No, wait. But then wasn't Joe Millionaire also?
Joe Millionaire was not a millionaire, I believe. I think that it was a dating show, but they thought all the contestants thought he was a millionaire, but he was actually just a nice guy, but not a millionaire.
Okay, well, now that we've reviewed every reality format from the early 2000s, I think it's time to go. JD, listen to next week's show. That's coming out Monday, September 11th. The guest will be Eshua Kid.
That's right. Okay? Our man Esh.
Esh is the producer, along with JD, of No Dunks. So it's the summer of dunks. We've had Skeets on. We've had Tass on. We've had Trey on. It's time for none of them to come on so we can talk behind their backs with the people behind the scenes. So very excited. Should be a very interesting episode.
The three topics are anything? Tass, is this good? Skeets, is this good? Trey, is this good?
I mean, not a bad opener. Do you think he's ready to dish on Inside Secrets?
Oh, great question. I think so. He's pretty much an open book. Like he will.
You know, we should ask him, what are each of the No Dunks guys' beige flags from what you've observed?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay.
Though, no, that still makes sense. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I was getting
Pre-tape
chronology
Colin
confused.
show?
I know. Yeah. Don't. Forget it. All right. Email us at isthisgoodpod@gmail.com. Subscribe everywhere. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Remember, the next Great Beyond is going to be Patreon only. So patreon.com/isthisgood. Great to see you, JD.
Great to see you.
This was us. This is us.
This is us. Terrible show.
Terrible show. Not funny. This was JD and Matt reaching out from the Great Beyond. We will see you next week.